All right, you're all set, Tim. Sorry about the delay. Colin and Chow, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but I don't seem to hear anything from the
Hear
village.
them? Okay, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, stand by.
Okay.
Hello, 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 hello. Hi.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
Yep, we can hear now. Tom,
We can hear Shannon, you know. And Grace.
girls.
It's the big green thing. Name. It says Maine.
Maine, wow.
Oh, turn to Maine. Yeah.
It's like magic.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Figure out know what we're doing here today. Roll call. Bill here. Here. Noah here. Here. Mike here. Here. Sam here. Here. No Scott. Everybody but Scott. So we have a quorum. So we need to review application materials, determine lead agency, begin the secret process. What do you have for application materials? Is that just this packet that we want to do? Something you got more, Tom?
There's some maps that got here. Got distracted.
This is the map we had in the last meeting.
Yeah.
I grabbed those. So, was there other additional materials from the last meeting that they needed to provide?
Well, there's this report's an update of it. So.
Okay, the updated engineer report.
And the statements from Tom. But this is about lead agency.
Yeah, these are the official statements about us becoming lead agency. One of the
Johnny, do you see anything besides the engineer's report that we should be in Matt? Yeah, we have a full sheet here.
So there's a full, yeah, because I don't have a copy of that. I was wondering what that was.
Here's the updated plan set.
That's the updated plan.
This is revised feature incorporating common comments, so everything that's flagged and read there.
Okay. Everything that's red is what you've changed in order, because of its comments?
Correct, yep. So
Okay.
we added to it.
So this is the corrected that we would go through if we are going to be the lead agent. This secret report.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's one minor change, I guess. Item C for suggested to put a trimming for EMS under C4E.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I see.
So if there's any changes or whatnot, we can make those, and then I think Tom will on Wednesday. and
So, if I understand this declaration of intent that I was given here, it made it sound like before we would declare ourselves, make a resolution, declare ourselves the lead agency, we would review the seeker. That seems backwards. That's backwards. Because it says whereas, be it resolved. I was reading through this like twice. So I'm assuming, based more on the agenda here, we want to make sure that you have the application materials, Tom, that you think you need at this point, that we've received those, which is the engineer's report, updated project plans. Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of what we have to review and see. And then we have to decide whether or not we want to be the lead agent, make a resolution to do that, and then if we approve that, we then begin to walk through the secret. Am I understanding that correctly? Yes, Tammy, you don't have to raise your hand, you can just speak.
I'm sorry. So what you'll need to do is do the declaration for with your intent to become lead agency. We will then have to send out notifications, and I think we talked about that at the last meeting to the interested other agencies, and they have 30 days to respond. Along with those interested agencies would be, off the top of my head, the town of Ulysses, the town of Covert, Seneca, and Tompkins County.
Yeah, there's a list here of that.
Yeah, so your declaration tonight is the intent to become lead agency, if I understand correctly.
And then they have 30 days to basically say they want to do it? Or
Yeah,
not?
basically.
Or not?
Colin Sawinski here.
So the whole point of
tonight's
tonight's meeting is to just declare that we want to be lead agency in the seeker process.
So, okay, did you hear that, Tom?
Is that was a question?
We understand, we're understanding that our intent tonight is just to say we intend to be the lead agent.
That's
So
my
the ball-
understanding, but Colin is trying to be heard, I think. Colin, did you have something to say?
I think he's muted. Oh, there.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah,
Now,
Okay, so just to clarify, so tonight is declaring the intent to become lead agency, as Tammy said. We have the list of involved and interested agencies, or at least what we believe to be the correct list. And any changes to that can still be made. MRB would then send out the coordination packages either tomorrow or on Wednesday. And all agencies who have been sent a package would have until January 21st to respond. If they do not respond, it's assumed that they have no objection.
and then we would then begin the process of reviewing the seeker.
Yeah, so at the January 24th meeting, you could go through the full EAF parts 2 and part 3, and if you're ready, make a determination of significance. If you have a negative determination, you would then be able to potentially act upon the special use permit application.
I would add also that at that same meeting prior to doing the seeker part 2 and 3, the board would then resolve, provided we have not heard from another interested party, that the board would then resolve to become the lead agency. Is that correct, Colin?
Yes, that's correct.
So this says this is part 1. You're saying we would have to do parts 2 and 3?
Yeah, so parts 2 and 3 would be completed at the January 24th meeting.
Okay.
And at least my expectation is that MRB would provide you with a draft copy of the full EAF part 2 and part 3. And the board would then review those documents at the meeting, make any changes they wish to make, and also make their determination of significance if they're ready to at that meeting.
Okay. So what do we do with part 1 that we have in our hands now?
So typically the board would review the part 1 and make sure they agree with what has been stated in the part 1. In this case, I will say that MRB has completed a cursory review of it, and we did send a few comments to Dondi by email with a few suggested changes, however, nothing of major significance. And overall, we believe it is sufficient to begin moving forward with declaring intent to be lead agency.
So if I'm understanding correct, we should look through this part 1 tonight in order to help us make a determination to make the intent to be lead agent.
It's not so much as part of declaring intent to be lead agency as much as it is making sure you have a complete application that is ready to be sent out for the process of declaring and determining lead agency.
Okay.
But also it gives the board an opportunity to determine if there are any potential environmental issues that they might want more information on
Okay.
from the applicants to be provided, at their next meeting, or if they see any, potential issues they'd like to start bringing up. But this is not really about making a determination about the environmental significance or making any real comment on the special use application itself. It's more about just the environmental record.
Colin, can you speak up a little bit? I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you. And I have one, I guess I'm a little bit unclear as to specifically like what aspects of this project need to be considered under seeker. I mean, I know I assume that there's stormwater issues and wetland. Is there anything beyond that?
Well, it's pretty laid out in the part 1, I think. after-
Yeah, sorry, this is the first time I've
Well,
seen
yeah,
this,
me
so.
too. And I think after, at least as long as the agenda is right, and I trust Candy has done it right, we'll make that determination about lead agency. And then go into just review it. And we have some changes that have come on it that we can look at, but I did a brief look through while we're sitting here, and it looks like it's pretty.
So parts 2 and 3 gets into more specifics. Am I assuming part 1 is kind of an overview?
So can you hear me a little better now?
A little bit.
I mean, part 1 is the overview.
So
And
to clarify, part 1 is more or less kind of talking about what the project is and what it's and going over sort of the specifics behind what is involved with the project,
okay.
such as will it create new traffic requirements? Will it demand water? Will it need to have wastewater? Will there be any air emissions and things like that? The part
Okay.
2 is where you get into the board's review, where they look at the items, sorry, give me a second here, just collect my thoughts.
Part one is the scope of the project.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
Is that correct? So the seeker review will be for the entire project. Is that,
The
Like, there's
secret
not-
review would be those areas that are affected environmentally in the entire project. This is the scope of the project.
Okay.
Some of the things in here will find their way into part two. We should at least go through this.
Yeah.
And at least see what's on every page. This gives you a better overview of the
Okay.
project in a logistic way. As opposed to just the descriptions of the project we've seen in the application materials. And we'll just.
I think I understand better now.
Yeah, okay. And this will go out to the other agencies, interested agencies, they'll see the same material that we're looking at. They can decide, no, we think our agency really should take the lead on this. EMS might say they want it.
Yes, and to clarify a little bit, the scope of the environmental review as part of seeker, the lead agency is determining the environmental significance for all agencies involved in the project. And so this is beyond just the scope of special use permit in a way,
Yes,
though you do not have the ability, of course, to issue permits on behalf of DEC, you are still making a determination of significance for the project as a whole and all aspects of it, essentially.
we, as lead agency, we would speak for and on behalf of all the other agencies. So we want to take into account their concerns,
Okay,
and they would note them to us. They have 30 days to note them, as well as declare they want to have a bigger part in the process. You understand that?
Yep.
So I think appropriately, we should determine that we intend to be the lead agency, because if we're not even going to do that, let's not go through anything. If we're not intending to be the lead agency, let's not read another piece of paper. But if we are going to read through this, then let's have a motion to become an intent to become lead agent.
can I just ask why we would declare to be lead agency? Like, is there, I don't know, have we ever gone through a seeker before like this? Or been a lead
Yes.
agency on a seeker?
Well,
I think it's because we're the only ones doing the special use permit.
Okay,
So it's
We're the
because
main
there's an
agency involved.
action, there's
Yeah.
got to be a seeker.
okay,
because it's a remodeling project more than a new development, whose new development the planning board would be,
Okay.
and most likely would declare themselves to be lead agent. And then we would come in if there were variances and special things we had to do.
okay. That
So we
makes
kind of
sense.
determined that the planning board doesn't necessarily need to deal with this. We would deal with it as a special use permit.
Yeah.
They can
So-
step up planning board and say, hey, we want to do this, but they don't have to. We're gonna have to issue a special use permit anyway.
Okay,
Even if someone else declares to be the agent, we will still have to do that. So since it
So
came to us
just-
first, we get the first shot at taking on the work. Any questions about that? Have a motion that we intend to become lead agent?
I'll move.
Colin Sawicki here from, so
What,
I would suggest from a process standpoint that if you are going to do a review of the full EA of part one, that you do so before you declare your intent to be lead agency, as this is sort of part of determining if the application is complete enough to go forward with declaring your intent to be lead agency.
I would also add that in your Dropbox, Dropboxes, I believe Tom forwarded it to you some time ago, is a resolution to do such, to make that declaration of intent. There
We
you
have
go.
a resolution.
Okay. So as Colin suggested, seeker first, part one, resolution of intent to declare lead agency, point number 2.
Okay. I think I asked that before and didn't get a straight answer on it, but we'll move on. I'm not opposed to.
so we're gonna review this document.
Yeah, let's
And
look
then
at it.
decide
Okay.
if we like it and we want to declare lead agency.
All right, page 1 of 13. As you look through there, in red there, here's the brief description. You can see it there, 138 lots. New sanitary mains, several laterals, manholes, water system, electrical service upgrades. exterior lighting, driveway upgrades, stormwater replacement, stormwater treatment facilities. Those are the things they're planning to do.
Removing 8 homes and adding 13. That's
New
the-
concrete
That's
pads.
the big. Right.
Gravel, playground. So that's kind of that's the brief description.
Yeah. Oh, you are replacing those 8. Oh, okay, gotcha. So there's 13 new in the total. Yeah, okay.
And just a point of clarification, some of the units that would be removed in the barn are in Cobra now.
Oh, great. Which is another involved agency, right?
All the Cobra.
Yeah.
possible interested parties are on that.
It's just
Right.
like that.
Because it's on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the proposed action, page 2. We'll pause any place you feel we need to pause. These are the agencies that are involved, Village of Trimsburg.
I'm just curious, what is the village board of trustees approval? What's needed there? Oh, it goes through them. Okay. Okay. That's probably just like, sometimes it's a planning board thing, but here, I don't even know the rules, but apparently the trustees take on that.
Say over the roadways.
Gotcha. I see. Okay.
So, and the zoning board is involved, obviously, because of special use permit. County agencies, you got the health department, of both Tompkins and Seneca, because of water and sewer. State agencies, you got DEC. What is New York State Homes and Community Renewal?
It's their funding.
Is that a funding agency?
Correct.
Okay. And then the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They have to sign off on what, like stormwater and
Wetlands.
wetlands?
Correct, yeah.
Right, right. And I noticed in the, I was reading through the documents about, that you're in a, one part's in a, greater than 100-year floodplain, and the other a 500-year, so it doesn't seem like there's many issues there. Under yes, do any municipally adopted comprehensive land use plans include the site where this project should be located? Yeah, we have a comprehensive plan.
Right.
That, the new one hasn't been approved yet, though, right?
Yes.
Oh, no, it
The
has.
new one was approved?
Yeah,
Oh, I knew it.
the zoning is in progress, but yeah.
Did it have any substantive things that would relate to the mobile home park, the new comprehensive plan?
Not the comprehensive plan.
Okay, and then you'll have specific, okay. Because here it says, if yes, does the comprehensive plan include specific recommendations for the site? And the answer to this is yes. So it does.
Well, maybe they know better than we do.
Maybe, okay, we may have to reference that. Okay, page 3. Is the site of the proposed action located in municipality with zoning? Yes. Is zoning laws? Is use permitted? Yes. And, oh, so here under B, this was where EMS would go under C. Yeah, because it fits more with fire protection versus medical services. Okay.
I don't really care, but I think D is a bit of a stretch.
Serve the project site. Henry Smith Woods.
I would walk that far, but I don't know if it's,
Yeah.
yeah, to get involved. Or even, I mean, if I don't know what serve,
Yeah.
I mean, I've filled these out before, but I just, whatever. More adjacent, I think it's, the way I interpret
Does the village police, only go to the one side of the street?
That'd be my guess.
And then the other side of the street must be, it's not even Tompkins County Sheriff, it would be,
Either the state or.
is there Seneca County? Seneca County? No.
Really? I
Yeah, I think they're-
Um,
do the cars just stop at the border, like the
Yeah, I was gonna
engine
say, I mean,
shuts off?
if
or-
you called the police in the trailer park, I assume that
I think
the
they would go.
Trumansburg police would.
other side of the road.
I mean, the
It's a good
EMS.
I don't,
question.
it's just a question. I don't
It's a
know.
good question.
Well, it's a valid question for sure, but my understanding is the village police jurisdiction doesn't go outside the village boundary.
Uh-huh.
So it would either be state or sheriff. Right.
Just wondering how well, yeah. I'm assuming the new 911 emergency services, well, that's Tompkins County though.
I don't know about that.
So just wondering how that works. Proposed action, an expansion of an existing project or use. So 9.4, that's the 13 new with the new, not counting the 8 that are just replacements. Right, okay. And those are, what are they, just empty lots that don't even have like pads or anything? 13. Yeah. Correct, yeah. It's just spaces that are there along the roads that haven't been built at all. No. 4.
Did this, wait, so the action doesn't include a subdivision, but this site did recently get a subdivision from the planning board?
Correct.
Okay,
And it was subdivided into the empty part and the actual part.
and the empty part is where they're planning on putting the 13 new, or the
No.
new ones will go
No,
in
the
the
13 are
actual
going in the
existing part?
existing
Okay.
part.
And the map pretty well shows that too.
Yeah, to develop the new one would then go into planning board, I think. Either one of these maps. If that's my understanding, is the other lot or the subdivided, if that's developed, that's gonna be a planning board. Right. Issue. Supposed to be resident, yeah, we just talked about that. 13, this proposed action include construction and other activities resulting in common of any liquids. So this is stormwater we're talking here. Correct. Okay. And whatever you're looking at, remind me, it's not really they're not doing retention ponds, correct?
There's one.
Oh, it'd be a wet pond. It sounded like there was some other structure you were putting in.
There's a pond on that drawing.
Okay.
After going through final calculations, and then everything.
Okay.
Satisfied the redevelopment project.
Okay.
What, can you tell me what a stormwater treatment facility is? I mean,
Well, that's
is this
what you're just
actually a
saying, that's been
building, or is
replaced.
this, oh, that's been replaced, sorry.
There'll be one pond. All water from the site will keep flow or channel flow through the practice. For water to settle out. Settle out.
But in this case, the facility is essentially just a pond for settling, et cetera, and then redistribution into the flow stream or whatever. Okay.
So the word treatment.
So that's,
That's the old one. and This is
yeah,
now
but this
this
is, I think the new one is almost in exactly the same spot.
What's this?
Set of
We've
trap.
done for
Yeah.
treatment?
The water quality line, the minimum required volume. Process, the water is in the pond.
Oh, where's,
Settle out
Right. It's a physical process.
Right, there's no chemical treatment either, right?
Well, this one's
Some of us.
This is the new
Oh, that, so these are old.
This was last meeting.
Oh, I
And then
see.
they changed some things. So that's the new one. Okay. And I'm assuming this is where DEC comes in and has to approve that specifically.
Correct, yeah.
And if it's not large enough, then the Army Corps of Engineers doesn't have to be involved.
There's no disruption to harm.
Okay. Okay. All right, so that moves down there. And the bottom of page 4, the transaction cause or result in alteration, approach to the existing wetlands. Intermittent stream 1. So that's one that just comes when we have a lot of rain. Is that what you mean by intermittent stream?
Yeah, there's different classifications, Army Corps of intermittent, which does dry up.
Okay. Existing culverts are going to be replaced. Describing the approach to reclamation, all the surveyors will be stabilized and restored. This is in the replacement of these culverts.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
If you go in the park, you can look at some of the culvert ditches and there's some pretty severe scouting.
There's action creating new demand for water. Oh, this is the water because you're putting in new units. You're going to need more water.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I read in the engineering report, it was like 200 gallons, 220 gallons per unit per day is kind of the average in mobile home uses.
Correct. Yeah. 8 recommendations.
And does the village have they have a limit of how much water is available? I mean, because they keep refilling the tank, I'm assuming, depending what the capacity of the pumps are for bringing it up from Barton. Do we know that?
Well,
How much expansion to the water system in our village is? Not
I
that this
can
is a
probably-
larger one, this is a large thing, but.
I can probably answer that question.
Yeah.
So I don't believe, I believe the answer is no, it doesn't have an impact on our water system. I can't remember exactly what the lot number was that INHS is looking for now. But at one point there were, when the park, both sides of the park were full, I believe we were at 132 mobile home units at that point.
And just to clarify too, determining an impact on the system really isn't part of the review at this point, as you are just reviewing essentially the scope and looking for a completeness of the application, not determining whether or not there will be a significant impact.
Right. Oh, I understand. I'm
And
just wondering what
also-
other agencies will need to have input about things that affect the whole. And the amount of water that's available is an issue when you go to some of the other villages that are struggling to have enough water for them. So that's just not. Capacity, they talked about this here, that's water. We've got then down at the bottom, it's dealing with the sanitary wastewater and the capacity of the village says yes to handle it. Page 6. We have existing sewer lines. There'll be an extension throughout the site. They're working on the idea of this being dedicated to the village, as well as the roads at some point being dedicated to the village, and the village wants to take that on. Have responsibility for that. Chapter. Disturb more than acre of runoff, yes. Okay, how much impervious surface will the project create? This is based on the new roads.
Correct.
Okay. And they'll deal with this, the flow that comes off of those. Air emissions, page 7. Nose. Working hours of operation. Oh, during construction, you mean this is the hours of construction? At the bottom of this?
Correct.
Okay, I was gonna say, it doesn't have hours of operation in the park. I think people want to come in after 7 o'clock at night. Okay. Right. Page 8. Noisy, well, whatever. Tree removal. Lighting, they're gonna put new lighting in. 20-foot poles. I'm assuming lighting is a lighting, Tom, now fall under building codes as far as the environmental impact of lighting now, is that found in
No, that's not.
building codes, so that's in the review process.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's several statements about dark skies compliance.
Right, okay. Temporary odors. We'll work on sanitary and storm sewers. Anything else on that page, gentlemen? Page 8. Page 9. Land uses around the area is agricultural and residential. Showing what's in the area. And okay. Facility. Rooms or family health is nearby. Contamination history has been reported spill at the site, yes. So,
So, 13 still on my road map.
all right, page 11. No. Drainage status, moderately well drained, 36%, poorly drained, 64%. Perfect. Geology up there, surface water, some portion of our stream, wetlands. So in this description here, wetlands, is this official wetlands, or is this when you're saying, yes, there is wetlands? Is that just that stream we're talking about?
Correct. That was an independent wetland federal.
Because I know there's been that issue, we've had this with a number of occasions of these overlay wetland maps that I think, Tom, you brought us up to knowledge about how they may not be
The village maps aren't
accurate.
But in this case, it was actually mapped.
This was actually mapped to determine that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Third party. and third party.
Okay. So we won't have to deal with building off of maps that may not be appropriately accurate.
Correct. That was the first round to it, wait, out west.
Page 12. We got skunks and squirrels and mice. That's good.
Easter skunk. I hope he doesn't replace the Easter bunny.
Never know. Those are Easter items. It's imports. Designated public resources is the project site within designated agricultural district. Agricultural lands. Last page 13. Archaeology going on up there. 5 miles of the state public, state local scenic or aesthetic resources. The scenic byway. Scenic lake, scenic byway.
That's 89.
Is that 89?
I think so.
Okay.
All the overlooks go to,
In Fall State Park. Okay. All right.
Looks good to me.
We'll represent huge issues. But significant things to see if they're going to. Okay, can we have a declaration of intent to be lead agency? Tammy, do I need to read this whole thing?
Messenger video.
Do I need to read this whole thing out loud?
That would be a decision for you and the board, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I've read it through.
I've read it.
You guys kind of read through this?
Yeah.
Get a copy of that? Okay. Can I have a motion?
I'll move
No one makes it a motion that we
that we
resolve to intend to be lead agent.
correct.
Can I have a second? Second is Mike. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed?
We need to get a system.
Because on a roll call, we almost did a roll call. Motion carries. We will inform that we intend to be the lead agent. We're declaring to intend to be the lead agent. That will then, these materials will be sent out to the interested agencies, of which there is 2 pages of these. And they will have 30 days to respond. At that point,
Will we receive comments from these agencies? I mean, I assume things like the village taking over the roads includes them agreeing to plow them and do all of those things, which adds impetus on the DPW, like. I'm assuming all of that review will come.
Typically, yeah, I
secret.
think so.
some things like that, the village taking over would not necessarily be contingent on approval of this project.
Yeah.
Their desire would be for them, but I think if the village isn't going to do that, they're still going to probably decide to put that on the project.
Sure.
I don't think it would be determinant to us that, the village says, no, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna take over
I guess so.
sewer lines. At this point,
If there's some major issue like that, they would let us know,
Yeah.
I would think.
yes, I think we'll get comments on whatever our engineering group will help us read through any of the comments that are significant. And then there were dates that were somewhere here.
One I
So they
saw
would
was
get back to
January
us by
21st.
January 21st would be the idea of hearing back as the deadline. So if we could think about scheduling a meeting the next Monday, if we don't hear back from any of those things in the negative, then we could be ready to begin the process on the next Monday. Which would be in January, that would be the 24th. Does a date like the 24th work, Tammy?
Yes,
Okay. Does the date for the 24th of January work?
6 PM or 7 PM, gentlemen.
6. Okay, fine.
Messenger video.
I think that's fine for me. Tammy, can I request that the village get better Wi-Fi here? Because currently the download rate is like 300 kilobytes per second. It's quite miserable.
Dial.
It's weird, yeah, it's
think
like,
if-
it's worse than dial-up.
That was Gmail.
Guys, I think if you check in the net available networks, there are actually 2 for the village, and you're probably signed on to the one that laptop is using for the video.
I'm signed on to Village Guest,
Yeah, there's another
And-
one.
but it still should be able to do video and have like at least a.
Check your email.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's in today's modern age, it seems like it should be better than that.
I will voice your displeasure.
Or maybe I should contact the board about it.
It's okay, I can do it. That's my job.
So are we good for 24th? Monday the 24th?
I think so. I'm still waiting for my calendar to open up.
Oh, is that what?
I'm just kidding, but yeah, I think it'll be fine, but
You want to use my phone?
no, it's okay.
And if we could just get a calendar invite
I
again,
agree.
that was,
Yeah,
that was
that would
very
be helpful
helpful.
too.
I appreciate
Yes,
it.
calendar invite. And she gave us a thumbs up.
Great.
Okay, so I think we're set on that. We'll have, is this an official meeting?
Yes, sir.
You have to like close it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, please.
All right,
I'll move to close.
we've got a motion to close.
I second.
Phil makes it, who was it? Noah makes second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. We're done.
Good night,
So,
everyone.
Other people will take care of sending this material out, correct? Yep. Excellent.
Very good.
Look forward to seeing everybody after the
Happy
holidays.
holidays, everyone.
Happy
You too,
holidays.
Tammy.
Tim, do you?
Thank you.
We should hold on to this.
Bye,
one. This
guys.
is- Okay.